Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering unboxing. So today we're going to be looking at the Fate Reforged 2-player Clash Pack. Just to clarify with this, what we see is that the Clash Pack and the event deck sort of alternate between sets. So Khans Tarkir had an event deck, Fate Reforged has a 2-player Clash Pack. The next set in the block will have an event deck, and then M16, which is actually going to be the last core set, will have a 2-player Clash Pack, and then so on. So you've got this alternation between event decks and 2-player Clash Packs going on. Now if we look at the box, we'll see there's a blue-black power deck and a black-green profit deck. And on the back, the contents, it's 2 ready-to-play 60-card decks, 6 premium cards with alternative art, deck box strategy insert, and a Magic Rules reference guide. And the idea behind this is that when you start off with it, you've basically got 2 decks that you can battle out between you and a friend. And then what you can do is take the 2 decks and combine them into a single deck that you might want to take along to, say, an FNM. Now obviously it depends on how good the deck is as to whether you would actually want to do that. But just looking at this, what effectively you've got here is I tend to think of this as a sort of standard legal dual deck. Because like a dual deck, you have premium cards, you have the foil lead cards in here, you've got alternative art. But because these are all standard legal, you could use them at a standard FNM, basically. So what we'll do is we'll crack this open. It says there's 3 per deck with the premium cards, and also with alternate art, as well as a deck box big enough for both decks. Well, we'll see. Somewhere in amongst this, so here's our deck box. It looks pretty wide actually. Interesting. Yeah, so it looks like if you actually built the single deck, but obviously there'll be instructions in how to do, that would actually fit in there even with sleeves. And there is a divider in here. I'm wondering whether they give you suggestions for sideboards as well. So it is literally, the final deck is very much like an event deck. Also in here we have the regular appearance of the rules reference card, which is this sort of slimmed down version of the how to play guide. So it summarises the the turns in Magic, and also the layout of a Magic card, and basic lands, what that represents. And here's the actual deck guide. So we'll see. Again, this reminds me a lot of the sort of dual decks. Hang on. Okay. Oh, yep, so it does. So basically on one side we have the actual individual decks. So there's the power deck, which is it's actually black, green, blue. Yeah. See, Sultai Soothsayer is in the deck. And it is listing where these come from. That's quite useful, I suppose, if you're trying to work out what the shelf life of this product against rotation. So rotation sort of occurs around September, October of this year. So it's the sort of set that's released after the core set when they start rotating stuff out. and so that this will give you some idea of the longevity of the cards in here. You can see there is an awful lot of stuff from Kanza here. The main concern is anything that's in the Born of the Gods or the Theros sets, because they're going to be affected by rotation, or anything in the 2015 core set, because there's quite a few cards. You can see we've got you know, a reasonably elaborate mana base there, so it's not just swamps, forests and islands. We've got dismal backwater, evolving wilds and opulent palace, because we need to cope with the three colours. There's instructions on playing the power deck, and it looks like Delve is a feature of this, so we're filling up the graveyard, and obviously there must be some synergy there in doing that, apart from just the fact we can use it for the Delve ability. And then moving over to the Prophet deck, this looks like this is just straight green black, so we have a slightly more simplified mana base. So we've got Jungle Hollow, which is going to fix for that, and also they've starred up the ones that have new artwork as well, and that's on both lists. We can see that. So it looks like from the original deck we've got Necropolis Fiend as new artwork, Hero's Downfall, Sultai Ascendancy, and then Courser of Crufix, Reaper of the Wilds, and Whip of Erebos. So you can see there's an awful lot of Born of the Gods, Theros, Journey into Nyx stuff in that particular deck. Actually, there's loads in there. And then obviously about playing the Prophet deck using the constellation mechanic it mentions here, and it looks like there's an enchantment synergy going on with that. And then on the other side you have the breakdown of the actual, you know, the suggested single deck which you can build from this, and indeed it does have a sideboard suggestion there, but of course there's nothing to stop you taking these cards and building whatever deck you want to, and obviously combining it with anything that you've cracked from packs or other product. So it gives just a bit about tournaments and events and sideboards. You can see again we've got quite an involved mana base here because of the inclusion of blue in here, as well as there's a green, black and blue there. Okay, so let's actually have a look at the cards themselves so we can get a feel for the artwork and some of the mechanics we're going to see. So the top one here is one of our foils. Shiny foil there. So we've got Necropolis Fiend, which is a rare, 7 and 2 black for a 4/5 creature demon, has Delve on it, so each card you exile from your graveyard while casting the spell pays for 1 colourless. So of course the most amount of stuff you could delve for here would be 7, because it has to be colourless that you pay for. Flying, X colourless, tap, exile X cards from your graveyard, target creature gets -X until end of turn. We've got Hero's Downfall, which is also a rare, 1 and 2 black, instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Sultai Ascendancy, that's an enchantment, also a rare, black, green, blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put any number of them into your graveyard, and put the rest back on top of your library in any order. So you've got this sort of top of the library filtering going on here. Scuttling Doom Engine, 6 colourless for an artifact creature construct. It's 6/6 Scuttling Doom Engine, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. When Scuttling Doom Engine dies, it deals 6 damage to target opponent. And again, just as an aside here, if I know some people are interested in sort of the aesthetics and the design of these cards, I've noticed actually that those first 3 cards all have this sort of promo symbol on them there, and then the rest of the cards look like they're going to have the set symbol included on them. So again, very much in keeping with I suppose with the event decks, where they all have the original, you know, the actual logo from the set they come from, whereas with a dual deck that will have the logo of the dual deck. The dual deck itself will have a special logo that they use there. Monastery Siege is another rare, 2 and a blue enchantment. As Monastery Siege enters the battlefield, choose Khans or Dragons. Khans at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, then discard a card. Dragons, spells your opponents cast that target you or a permanent you control, cast 2 colourless, more to cast. I actually drafted this recently in the full Khans of Tarkir draft online. A very interesting card. That's sorry, that's not Khans of Tarkir, Fate Reforged that's from. Typhoid Rats, also from Fate Reforged, 1 black for a 1/1 with Death Touch. Satyr Wayfinder. So moving on to some commons now. There's 2 of those, well actually 4, full complement of those in the deck. Sultai Skullkeeper, another one from Fate Reforged, 1 and a blue for a 2/1. When Sultai Skullkeeper enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Merciless Executioner is an uncommon from Fate Reforged. Necromancer's Assistant from M15. And there's 2 of those. Return Centaur. Sultai Soothsayer from Khans. And there's 2 of those. Sultai Scavenger. Also from Khans of Tarkir, 2 of those. Gurmag Angler from Fate Reforged. Now we move on to our mana base. So that's obviously our creatures. Dismal Backwater. So Dismal Backwater enters the battlefield tap. When Dismal Backwater enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap, add blue or black to your mana pool. And there are 2 of those. We've got Evolving Wilds, which is going to help us fix. It's a fetch land. You tap it, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, and then put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Opulent Palace is going to fix for black, green, or blue, and that enters the battlefield tapped. And there are 4 of those. And then we move on to our swamps. So these have the Fate Reforged logo on them. And there's also some Khans of Tarkir artwork, and the same with the forests. So these are our basic lands, which we can, in addition to them obviously playing them, they can be fetched out by that Evolving Wilds. So now we move on to our non-creature spells. We've got Despised. So for 1 black, it's a sorcery. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a creature or planeswalker from it, and that player discards that card. Annul. So we're going to have obviously some blue counter spells in here, and these Annul will counter a target artifact or enchantment. Naturalize is an instant that destroys target artifact or enchantment. Neutralizing Blast will counter a target multicolour spell. Tigan's Scheming lets you mess about with the top 5 cards of your library, putting any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. And there's a couple of those. Sultai Banner is a 3-drop that basically lets you try and fix your mana. Well, this will do black, green or blue, or if you don't need it for black, green, blue, you can sacrifice it and draw a card. Sultai Charm. The charm in black, green, blue, that is a modal card, so you can choose one of 3 things. You can destroy a target monocoloured creature, or you can destroy a target artifact or enchantment, or you can draw 2 cards and then discard a card. And there's a couple of those. Murderous Cut as an instant with Delve on it that destroys a target creature. There's a couple of those. Set Adrift has Delve on it, and that allows you to bounce target non-land permanent back to the top of an owner's library. We have Treasure Cruise in the deck. And it's 7 and a blue, sorcery with Delve, and you get to draw 3 cards. Dead Drop, 9 and a black, sorcery with Delve. Target player sacrifices 2 creatures. And 1 and 2 black, we've got an enchantment creature demon, Herald of Torment. It's a rare, 3/3 with Bestow on it. So for 3 and 2 black, you can cast this card for its Bestow card. It's an aura spell with enchant creature. Becomes a creature again. It's not attached to a creature. Has flying, and at the beginning of your upkeep you lose 3 life. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has flying. That's the first deck. Let's have a look at the other one. Reaper of the Wilds, 2 black green for a 4/5 creature Gorgon. Whenever another creature dies, scry 1. So you look at the top card of your library, you may put that card on the bottom of your library. For a black, Reaper of the Wilds gains Death Touch until end of turn, and for 1 green, Reaper of the Wilds gains Hexproof until end of turn. Courser of Crufix. 1 colourless, 2 green, 2/4 enchantment creature Centaur. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library if it's a land card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Whip of Erebos, 2 and 2 black, legendary enchantment artifact. Creatures you control have lifelink. 2 and 2 black, tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate this ability only any time you could cast a sorcery. Baleful Eidolon. So we've got some commons here. Brain Maggot. So these are enchantment creatures as well. Another Brain Maggot. Leaf Crown Dryad. Enchantment creature Nymph Dryad. Grim Guardian, enchantment creature Zombie. There's a couple of those. Noble Quarry, enchantment creature Unicorn. Oakheart Dyads, that's an enchantment creature Nymph Dryad. A couple of those. Nyx Weaver, so we can see that all of these are enchantment creatures. That's a spider. 3 of those. Now we're just moving on to regular creatures now. We've got Grave Robber Spider, which is a 3 and a green for a 2/4 with reach. And for 3 and a black, Grave Robber Spider gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Activate this ability only once each turn. Loathsome Cotobalpass. Nemesis of Mortals. There's a couple of those. And moving on to our mana base, we've got Jungle Hollow, which enters the battlefield tapped. Enters the battlefield and you gain 1 life, and then you can tap it for black or green. There's a couple of those, and then we've got our rest of our mana base, which is in form of basic lands. So there's our swamps. Again, cards from both from Fate Reforged and Cards Tarkia, and the same is true of the forests, I believe. Okay, so we should be getting on now to our non-creature spells to make up the rest of this deck. So we have Dark Betrayal, which for 1 black we can destroy a target black creature. And there's a couple of those. We've got Font of Fertility. So this is a single green enchantment with 1 and a green, sacrifice Font of Fertility, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. Vineworth, another enchantment. 1 green enchant creature, target creature gets +1/+1, 4 and a green, return Vineworth from your graveyard to your hands. That's from M15. There's a couple of those from M15. Debilitating Injury. So that gives an enchanted creature -2/-2 for a cost of 1 and a black. Commune with the Gods. 1 and a green sorcery. And you can another one that messes with the top 5 cards of your library. So you reveal them, and you may put a creature or enchantment card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. And there's actually 3 of those. Defend the Hearth. Basically compact damage prevention for 1 and a green. Plumbing destroys target creatures with flying for 1 and a green. Nyx's Infusion will enchant a creature and it will give it +2/+2 as long as it's an enchantment, so you can only use it on enchantment creatures, otherwise it gets -2/-2 for 2 and a black. Reviving Melody. So this is on a modal, but in addition you can either choose one or both actually. So it's two and a green, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and or return target enchantment creature from your graveyard to your hand. Night Howler. So this is another rare, 1 and 2 black, 0/0. Enchantment creature horror, bestow for 2 and 2 black. If you cast this card for its bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchantment creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. Night Howler enchanted creature, each get +X/+X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard, so obviously benefits you having stuff in your graveyard. Eidolon of Blossoms, 2 and a green, rare enchantment creature spirit, 2/2, has Constellation. When an Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Doomwake Giant, another rare, 4 and a black, 4/6 enchantment creature giant. So more of these enchantment creatures. Constellation, whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 until end of turn. And that is it for that deck. So there we have the Fate Reforged Clash Pack with the useful, if rather flimsy, deck box, which would appear to take some cards with sleeves on them. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.